Hello everybody, welcome back to my videos. Today I'm going to be talking about IAM in AWS. I have quite a video for you. We're going to be doing like 9 different live demos in this video, and it's going to be pretty exciting. So I wanted to do this because I wanted to talk about cloud security. So this is like an intro. This is like an intro topic in cloud security is IAM and AWS. So if you enjoy this video, you can see other videos that I have. I have links in the description of this one, and let's get into this for now, and I hope you like it. So what I'm going to do today is I want to talk about IAM and how it fits into cloud security. Then I'm going to come up with a business case of like why somebody would use IAM or why somebody would need to know this if like for their business. And then I'm going to get into a demo of just what kinds of things we can do with users. So I'm going to be taking a user and I'm going to be like we'll just see what kind of mischief we can get into with these IAM users. So this video is on behalf of Virtually Testing. Virtually Testing is a nonprofit organization. They encourage education. They do it for charity. A lot of their activities are charity based, and they also foster innovation in the space. So here's a little bit about me. My name is Jeff Jung. These are my social media links. This is a LinkedIn. This is a Twitter. Here's some stuff a little bit about me. I like watching movies and listening to music. I just really love media, and I also am finding a passion for making creative content. So I really like making videos. And about me, I have a bachelor's degree in kinesiology, and I at one point wanted to be a sports coach. So from watching this video, I just want to kind of go over like what you're going to get from it. So first of all, you're going to learn how to stop users from accessing certain parts of your infrastructure. You're going to learn about security groups. And if you keep watching the video, you'll learn about accessing AWS with IAM users, which is different than your root user. So it kind of I'll get more into that later. And you're also, if you're going to be continuing to watch it, you'll be able to see a demo of how the AWS Dashboard is managing the IAM roles. So what do you need to do this? If you want to recreate this on your own, that's perfectly fine. You could easily put this video up and do this live in your own account. So what you need is you have an account and you have a web browser that you access your account, and that's all you need. So if you don't have an account, get an email that like your work email and sign up for AWS, and you give access to like free services for a year. But so let's just start out here. What is IAM? So IAM it stands for Identity Access Management, and it is a part of security because it's managing access to resources. So you don't want every single service available to every single person that is going to log in to your AWS account. You want to do what's called granular control, meaning that you have all these little options that you let people peek in as much as you want them to. So it's like, I think it's the rule where you give the least amount of access possible. That's kind of the idea here, is you give people enough access to do what their task is on AWS, but nothing more than what they need. So that's the granular control, and it's just enhanced security. It's like this whole security system that keeps you safe. It keeps you from having like an accidental deletion of something because somebody, went into the wrong place and pressed the wrong button. It's gonna just give your entire security posture a little bit more stability. And it's all done through managing what's called groups and users. So like I said, let's say you have an accountant that you want to give access to like some of the financial data, but you don't want them to accidentally go into the like you don't want them to go into the website and like accidentally delete the HTML code, right? Because if you give too much access, people can do something on accident. So IAM is like, bottom line, it prevents stuff like that from happening by limiting what people have access to. And I just wanted to throw this in here. When you sign up for AWS, you sign in with your root account, and like it's best practices not to use that root account for everything. Best practice is to create an admin account that you use to administer your AWS deployment, but you only want to save your root account for there's only like one or two things that the root account can do that the admin accounts cannot do. So you want to like first thing you do when you sign up for AWS is create an admin account and then sign out and then use that admin account. So it's a little bit tricky. It's a little bit tricky to log in. So we'll see that in the demo of how to log in with these like different users that you make. So this part is the demo, right? This is a diagram of what is gonna go on throughout the rest of this video. So like, just to kind of explain it, at the top of the diagram is AWS, and then there's this number that's like my account number. So like everybody's account has like a number that refers to their space, and that's mine. So then within that, on the left, I have some users: Sandeep, Guy, admin. So those are like three pretend people that work at my company. And on the right, it's showing, okay, what does Sandeep, Guy, and admin have access to? So you'll see on the right, there are the groups. So you have the monitor EC2, which is just a read-only access on EC2, which means you can see what's going on in the EC2 instances, but you can't actually do anything with them. Then there's going to be a group where there's a monitor, an S3 bucket, which is the same thing. You can read only the S3 bucket, so you can look at the S3 bucket, but you can't necessarily change anything on it. And then we'll have an admin group where you can do anything. You can shut down EC2 instances, you can delete EC2 instances, you can delete S3 buckets. And it's like you get totally free range of what you need to do. So this is what the lab is gonna be about, because like, let's say your EC2 instance is holding your website, to go back to like the business case. Let's say you have an EC2 instance with a website, and your S3 bucket, you have somebody who all they do is work with S3 buckets. You don't want them to be able to delete or shut down the website, right? So you make it so that the person that needs to do S3 buckets only has access to S3 buckets. They don't have access to the EC2. And even going more granular, when they have access to S3 buckets, what are they able to access on the S3 buckets? Are they able to just see them, or are they able to actually delete the buckets and create new buckets? So that's kind of the gist of what we're allowing people to do and what we're disallowing people to do. And, an implementation like that would protect your company from like being hit by from doing business, right? Because if your website accidentally gets shut down, you can't do business. Like, let's say your company is doing like selling something through the website. Like, if it goes down, you like that shuts down the entire business. So you don't want little accidents like that happening, where somebody who just accidentally clicks the wrong thing will totally, affect everything. So you only want like certain people to have that ability. So that's why you'd have like admins and stuff like that. But that's so hopefully that kind of explains what we'll do. Let's just get into some shots of like what we're looking at here. So this is the assets. So what I have is in my AWS environment that says AWS number, like that I made with my root account, I created these assets. So pretend we have two things running. We have a S3 bucket running, and we have a EC2, which is like a virtual machine. It's like a virtualized computer running on the website. I mean, it's not important to know what EC2 is. It's just that there is an asset called EC2, and let's say it's supposed to be doing something. Let's just say we have those two things on our system, the EC2 and the S3 bucket. And then we, so here's the EC2 instance running. It's the first asset. Then we got the S3 bucket. It's called Cloud Bucket Test for Access, and that's our second asset we have running. So, moving on, let's say we want to start hiring people and getting more people involved in this infrastructure that we have on Amazon, right? Because the more people that we have involved, the less we have to do ourselves, right? We can let it run themselves. So let's say we hire an administrator, and we hire Sandeep, and we hire Guy. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to show you how we kind of set it up to where they get what they need. So this is what you do to create a group. You go to Identity Access Management in the services, and once you get on Identity Access Management, you go into Groups on the left, and you want to click on Create New Group. Then you want to name your group name. So in this case, we're going to be making a group called Admin, and you click the Next, and then you attach the policy. You scroll down until you see the one that says Administrator Access, because we want them to have all admin access. And then you click Next, and then you hit Create Group, and you see they are now created, and they're there. So let's do that in the AWS console. So just before I move on, I just want to say what's going to happen in between looking at the screenshots and then looking at these screenshots and then going to the live demo is when I go to the live demo, I'll be playing. I'm just going to play some music so you know when I'm in demo and when I'm actually on the slides. So let's hop into the demo and let's see the process of creating a group. So there's creating the admin group. It's pretty straightforward. The only thing I didn't show in the slide was going to the IAM service. So that's just like any other service. You click on services on the top left-hand corner, and it's going to pop up all the Amazon services, and you just scroll until you see IAM, and you click on IAM. And then from there, you can get into your groups and stuff. So again, click on services. You can see it in the top left. And then you click on IAM, and then you click groups. This is what the IAM menu looks like. You click groups again, and now we're going to create an EC2 group. So this is going to be somebody that is going to be able to look at EC2 instances. Again, it's not important what an EC2 instance is. It's just they're going to have access to this service, but they're not going to be able to do anything with the service. They're just going to be able to look at it. So you want to go to the groups, click create new group, type in monitor the EC2, that's the group name. Then you click next step, and then you want to search for the policy Amazon EC2 read-only access. So when I first made the EC2 group, I accidentally clicked the Amazon EC2 container access, read-only access, and that didn't work. It has to be the Amazon EC2 read-only access. And so that's what tells you, okay, what sorts of permissions do you have. Then you click next step, and you see right there, your group has been created. So now we have an admin group and we have a monitor EC2 group. So now I'm going to jump in the demo and I'm going to make that EC2 monitor group live. So there you have it. You have your EC2 group and you have your admin group. So now let's make a third group. Now we want a group that can access S3 buckets and can only deal with and can only look at the S3 buckets, but they cannot look at what's going on in the EC2 instances. So this would be useful, like, again, going back to a business case, like if you have something sensitive running, right? Like if you have a machine called like secret executive portal, right, running on a EC2 machine, you don't necessarily want the guy that's working on the S3 bucket to be able to look and see that you have a machine that's running this secret backdoor website that's only accessible to certain people. So it's also like IAM also gives you like a privacy type deal where where certain things are unaccessible, so they're just kept out of the public eye. So let's make this S3 bucket group. This S3 bucket is going to just allow them to see the S3 buckets. They're not going to be able to change them and delete them or anything. So again, go to services, go to IAM, then click on groups, and then you're going to click on create a new group, and then you're going to name your group monitor S3, and then you want to go to next step, and then it's attaching the policy. So you want to, this policy is called Amazon S3 read-only access. You attach that, and then you click next, and then you just sort of review, make sure everything looks okay, and then click create group, and then you'll notice you'll have an S3 group in your group tab. So you have the 3 groups. So now let's jump over to the live demo and create the final group. So there you have it. Your third group is created. So that's the first step, is create the groups, and then you define what you want each group to do. So that's how you start out. You just figure out what you want people to access, and then you create a group based on what you want them to access. And then from there, you start making users and assign them to groups. So let's make a user, right? Because right now all we have are these groups, and the groups have the policy in them defined, but you have to assign that permission to a user. So the next step is you make users. You can make as many or as little as you want, right? You can now that you have the group, what I'm saying is you can have like multiple users in that group. But for now, we're just going to make one user per group. So first user we're going to make is admin. So to make this user, you go, it's the same tab, the IAM tab, but now you go into users. So you go into users, and then you click add user, and then it's going to bring up this next screen where it asks you to put in information about your users. So you put in the name, you put in the password. For this demo, I'm going to keep user must create a new password on sign in. I'm going to turn that off. But if you were to make it a real user in real life, you might want to turn that on so that when they're signing in, they get to their own custom access. And then you hit next, and it's going to bring up this, it's going to bring up the groups that you made. So we just made those 3 groups, and since it's an admin user, we want to tag them with the admin permissions. So you put the group admin, and you click next. And then this is like tags. I just leave it blank. So I hit next, and I look over all the information. If I like it, type create user, and then you'll see success, right? You now have an admin user. You click close, and you'll see in your users, you'll now have a new guy named admin. So now I'm going to jump in the demo, and I'm going to take that group that I made, and I'm going to put it on a user. See, so there you have it. You have your admin user now in the user base. So that was pretty easy, right? So, now we have a guy that can do not all the tasks that a root can do, but pretty much everything the root can do. There's only like one or two things that the admin cannot do that a root can. And I forget, it's slipping my mind right now what it is, but it's only like one or two things. So you have your guy that can do everything. So now let's make the user that is able to see EC2 instances. So again, go to the IAM tab, go to users, click add user, fill out the name. In this case, his name's Sandeep, and then put custom password. My password is password, capital P ASSW 0RD. It's okay, I'll tell you what the secret password is, because by the time you see this video, I will have these roles deleted. So you put in your password, needs a capital letter and a number, and I turn off the new password required to sign in. And then once you have that in, click next and the permissions, and then you're going to assign the group to the user again. So you're going to assign monitor EC2, which has the EC2 read-only access, and then click next, and then skip the tags and hit next, and then look at everything, and if it looks good, click create user. Then you click close, and you'll see Sandeep has now been created, and he's in the pool with admin. So now I'm going to jump back into the live demo, and I'm going to create a user using the monitor EC2 group. All right, so as you can see, Sandeep has been created, and we're well on our way of having a functioning IT infrastructure system with multiple users that can perform multiple tasks in a safe manner. So now let's create our third user. Third user's name is Guy, and he's going to be the S3 bucket read-only access user. Same thing, go to services, IAM, and then click on users, and you'll have the user pool come up. You click on add user, put in guy's name, put in guy's password, and then click next for the permissions, and then attach guy to the monitor S3 group, and then hit next, and then skip this and hit next, and just go over all the information, make sure it looks good, and then hit create user, and you'll get the success. Your user's been created. Hit close, and you can confirm that by seeing guy in the user pool. So now I'm going to jump back into the live demo. I'm going to create our third user, and I'm going to put that group monitor S3 on the third user, and that will be all the users that we're going to need. We're going to have a three-person team working on this AWS deployment. So let's jump into the demo. All right, so now you see we have guy, and yeah, these are our three users. Just to recap, this is who they are and what they can do. Sandeep can only access the read-only on the EC2. Guy can only access the read-only on SS3. And admin has the ability to do what he wants. He can start the EC2, he can delete it, he can create new EC2s, he can delete S3 buckets, he can do what he needs to do, right? So this would be like the structure of maybe an IT team that is working on some company resources. So we have our three users. That's like the very first part of IAM is, you get your users and then you give them their permissions, and that's going to, the certain permissions are going to allow them to do certain things. And, but of course, like any good security team, you kind of want to test it. So let's see what we can do, right? The first part is logging in as an IAM. So it's a little different than logging in as root. Right now, I created those users with my root account, but now I want to log in as them. It's a little bit different process. So you just click on the IAM user, and this particular number is my account ID, and you have to put that in there. So that's just the process. It's a little bit different. I'll show you how it works, and over in the live demo now. So as you can see in the live demo, I'm ready to use the IAM roles that I've created, and I'm in the space where you log in with your username and password. And this, remember, Super Seeker's password is capital PASSW0RD. So let's log in to Sandeep. Let's see kind of what happens when you log in. So first thing you're going to do is you go to the IAM user. You're going to put in that account ID and then hit next. and it's going to ask you for your username. So our username is Sandeep. Put in our password, and then click sign in, and you'll just be at the AWS dashboard like normal, right? And you see on the top, Sandeep is logged in. His name is on the top, and he has access to everything. You click on services, and so his service, remember, is EC2. So you want to click on EC2 right there, and it brings you to the EC2 dashboard. Let's see what happens when Sandeep clicks on instances. You can obviously see the instance comes up. It says, hey, this is an instance ID. Shows the name. It shows it's running. So it gives you the status check. You say, hey, all right, I can see my EC2 instance and it's up. Everything looks good. But let's see what happens when we try to take that further. So you want to take Sandeep and you want to select his instance by just clicking on that checkbox, and then you want to click on instance state. It's going to bring up a menu. So now let's try to stop it. So click on stop instance. It's going to give you confirmation. Click stop, and look at that. Gets you a big, we made a little warning pop up. Didn't like that. That's because he doesn't have permission to stop it. He just has permission to look at it. So that's kind of interesting, right? You get to see what happens when AWS says no, that's enough. So let's see what else we can get into. We can get that warning. Let's see if we can do something else. So let's go to the S3 bucket, and remember, Sandeep is only able to see EC2 buckets. And remember, like I said in the beginning, we do have an S3 bucket running in this AWS environment. But it says this is what it looks like when you log in with somebody that doesn't have access to look at the buckets. It gives us another big error message. You don't have permissions to list buckets. So yeah, got another error message. It's kind of interesting. Now, let's see what happens. I just want to go through that process now in the live demo and show you what happens when you poke around in there. Yeah, so that's what it's read-only lets you do, right? Or that's what AWS IAM more so is doing. It's enforcing certain things. It allows you to look at stuff, but it doesn't allow you to take actions. It allows you to apply that if you so choose. So now let's look at what happens to Guy, right? We saw Sandeep. He was not able to see the S3 bucket. So let's see what happens when we log into Guy and we try to look at S3 buckets with Guy. So again, click on IAM user. You input the account ID. Click next. Now let's log in as Guy with the password, PASSW0RD. Click sign in, and now let's see when we click on S3, because we saw we had got an error message with Sandeep. But Guy, since he has S3 read-only, he's able to see that bucket. And then you'll see, he has access to it. But what happens when Guy tries to take that further? So click on the little satellite next to cloud bucket test for access, and then just to select the bucket, click on delete. It's going to give you confirmation. So you type in the name of the bucket and then type delete bucket. And look at that. It gives you an error. You're not allowed to do that. You are able to see it, but you're not able to do certain things. So that's just an example of read-only access in work. Here, with Guy, let's see what happens when we look at the EC2. We know what EC2 looks like. We know it's running because we were just on there with Sandeep. But when you try to get into the EC2 part, it gives you all these API errors because it's not connected on the back end. So now let's jump into the demo and see if we can get these errors to reproduce in the live AWS, in the AWS Dashboard. So all right, we know our read-only access is working. Sandeep is not able to see the cloud buckets. He's not able to stop anything. That's good. That, is, let's say part of his job is just to check the status of the buckets and make sure they're running. He can do that. Let's say Guy's job is just to check the status of the S3 bucket. He can do that. And he doesn't have access to anything else. He can't do anything further than that. And that's what IAM is all about. It's allowing people to do the least possible, or it's allowing people to do the least that they need to do and nothing more. So now we've seen all these warning signs pop up in AWS. We tested out to see what happens when we try to do stuff we're not supposed to do. Now let's see the contrast to somebody that does have that type of access. So now we're going to log into admin. Remember, admin has administrative rights, but it's the same process, right? The IAM user, select the IAM user, put in your account ID, hit next, put in the admin username, put in the password, and hit sign in. And then, as you can see in the top right, you're now admin. So let's see how it's different with admin, right? Let's click on services. Let's go to the EC2 instance. We can go into EC2. We want to go into instances. And again, he can see the bucket running, or he can see the EC2 instance running. But let's see what happens this time when we try to stop it. So you want to select the bucket, select instance state. You're going to get a menu come up. Click stop instance. It's going to give you this confirmation. Hit stop, and look at that, successfully stopped. So admin everything looks the same, but some stuff there's some you can tell there's something else going on underneath everything, because now admin's able to do this. Let's see, what else can you do? Let's go to services. You click on S3 bucket. There's the S3 bucket. Right, he can see it, so he's got the read. But admin, let's see what happens when we select it and try to delete it. Gives you the same. Put in the bucket name. Type delete bucket. And look at that. He gets a successful ability to delete the bucket. And that's all because the only reason why he can do that is because in the group he has that he just has that permission. So let's go in the live demo. You have it. That was going into the AWS Dashboard and creating some roles through IAM and creating users through IAM, and then kind of testing out what the limits of those users were and what they aren't. So that's the demo. Hopefully that was useful, and hopefully it gives you like a beginner's look into cloud security. That's just part of the whole world of cloud security. So that was fun. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, be sure to check out my other videos. I'll put links in the description, and hope you have a good day.